start with a disclaimer for my talk. Swami often talks about 5 blind men and an elephant. And he says that one blind man touched the trunk of the elephant and said, "Oh, the elephant is like a snake." And the second blind man touches the body of the elephant and he says, "Oh, it's like a wall." And then the third, it goes on. So each person touches a different facet of the elephant and thinks that the elephant is what they touch. I'm much like the blind man. What do I know about Swami? The only thing I know of Swami is what I have experienced with my limited mind. So please consider that while I'm speaking to you. If I had a broad mind and if I was Swami, then I wouldn't be speaking here. So Swami says that once you know Swami, you become him. So I'm not there yet since I'm talking. So with this disclaimer, I begin with my talk. So entry into Swami's fold. Sorry, I didn't get it. The next one, yeah. The entry into Swami's fold. So my father used to work in a books and publications company, and he was an avid reader. So he came across Howard Moffat's Man of Miracles, and he was really drawn to the stories, and he thought he had found a phenomenon. So one day he used to take the public transport. That's why I have this bus. This is the Bangalore Transport Service. And so he was sitting in the bus with the book, and he was reading through it, and a person came sat next to him. And my father quickly closed the book and tried to hide it away from him, because in those days Swami was not famous. In fact, he was infamous. They thought he was a miracle man, he was a magician. So it was more like a stigma to know Swami. So he closed the book quickly and tried to cover it up. But the neighbor saw the book and he said, you're reading this book. Do you know Baba lives in Bangalore right now? He's in Vrindavan. And my father didn't know that. And so he gave him directions to go to Vrindavan. And thus began our journey into Swami's fold. So the opportunity of being in Bangalore was that in those days, Swami used to not be in Parthi as much. He used to only go for 4 festivals. He would go for Shivratri, which was in February, and then he would go for Guru Purnima. He would go for his birthday and Dashara before that. Only 4 festivals, but other than that, most of his time he would spend in Bangalore. So we got his proximity to a large extent. So also one blessing I would say is our house was 5 minutes away from R.S. Padmanabhan's house. And Geeta Mohan Ram is the daughter of R.S. Padmanabhan, and she used to do Balavikas in her class, in her house. So I got to attend Balavikas there, and it's Swami's grace, because in those days again there's no information, right? It's just by word of mouth, and we came to hear of it. The awesome part of this was that Swami would come unannounced to their house. So there were times when we would be having Balavikas class and Swami would be there all of a sudden. And then my father would come to pick me up and Swami would be there. So Swami would ask all the parents and the children to have dinner with him, bless us and send us home. So that was like, we didn't realize the opportunities we had then, but yeah. One important story I remember about Vrindavan is Swami's ashram in Bangalore. In Vrindavan, Swami used to give, if you go to the next slide, I hope I have it. Yeah, this is the balcony of his home in Vrindavan. On Thursdays and Sundays in the mornings, right after Nagar Sankirtan would be over, like we did just now in the morning, going around singing Swami's song, Swami would come out on the balcony for the aarti. And there were so few people that there were no much rules against anything. Like if you had a plate of aarti, you could do aarti to Swami. It was that simple. But so every single time, it was called the Vishwarupa Darshan. They used to call it the Vishwarupa Darshan for some reason. And every single time, even if I close my eyes today, I can see that image of Swami swaying, and there would be a white aura around Swami. And the aura would, like when Swami would move, the aura, entire form of him, it would move, it would be white. I thought it was normal because you read about God having aura, right? So then one day I asked a lady next to me, I said, do you see the white light? She said, no. And she was an older lady, so I thought maybe she has some, eyesight problem or something. So I asked my other neighbor, and she said she didn't see it either. And then I realized Swami was giving me a blessing of seeing that aura. I don't know what that meant, but it was really great. So during I'll come back to the devotees of Vrindavan. See, when God comes down, it's a great and grand phenomenon. But along with him, he brings these devotees who are amazing. They will portray, and I wanted to say it was a hard hike to follow after Dr. Hari and Michigan and Ohio. So Sai, I'm seeing Sai in both states. I forgot to say, but. Just like Dr. Hari was showing his service activities, there were many people who lived Swami's principles right in front of our eyes, and no advertisement. Nobody knew about their lives until somebody had known, right? So these were exemplary devotees, but I'll come to that later. In 1977, during the Dashera celebrations, Swami announced in Puttaparthi that he was going to open his first primary school. And this was going to be opened in Ooty in 1978. So my father came back excited, and in Sanatana Sati, I think they sent the application form or whatever. My father asked me if I wanted to go, so we applied. And then the whole family went to Ooty. And there was, Swami was there during the interview process and everything. So there was an interview, there was an entrance exam, and I got picked for it. And he had only started first, second, and third grades. And I was in third grade. I had just entered third grade. So I was around 7.5 years old. And my father asked me, and I was very excited. I did the entrance exam, I passed it. And then they told us that we can come the next day into the hostel. But I was so excited. I was like, no, I want to go today. So they were like, are you sure? So anyway, I was so excited. We got everything packed, and that evening I went to the hostel. It was great and fine until dinner was over. Once dinner was over, one child started to cry because they were homesick. And it was a cascade. The whole dormitory started crying. It was so hard for the teachers to control 100 students, right? First few days they tried to quell us, but on the third day, Swami, the most important part about Ooty was that our dormitories used to be on the first floor. Swami's room was right above us. So there was a pair of stairs, and he would just come, and we were just the first 100 students that were there for Swami's school. So Swami would walk down, and our classrooms was right opposite his door. So there were so many, like he could come anywhere, anytime. So they were trying to quell the 100 children crying. And then one day Swami just popped in, and he came and sat on one of our beds. So we had bunk beds in Ooty, there's top and bottom. So third graders got the top one, and the younger ones got the lower one. But anyway, Swami came and sat on the bed, and he asked us, why are you all crying? So one boy said, I miss my mom, I miss my family, I miss my home. Then Swami said, why are you crying? I'm your mother, I'm your father. I'll take care of you, he said. And at that moment, even though we were children, we didn't quite understand the impact of his words. We were something magical. I think it's the love of Swami that touched our hearts. And everybody was quiet. And after that, believe it or not, we didn't think much about our parents until we had to write a letter every Friday to our parents. So then we would have a template that our teachers taught us. A respected mother and father, and then we would write everything. So that was how it was. About Ooty, Swami started it in 1978. So whenever he starts a project, he's fully invested in it. And then he steps back. So since he had just started, he made sure that he would come very often to visit us. And also he's the one who picked our uniforms, he picked our lunch, dinner, everything, all the menu. And he would make us, they would send our grades to him, they would send our height and weight. All of it went to Swami. And if there was a change in a child's weight on the negative side, Swami would be very upset. He's like, these parents have entrusted the children to me. How can you not take care of it? The teachers were always on the edge, because they had to be answerable to Swami for every single thing. So I kind of feel sorry for them now when I think. But the best times we had was in Ooty. So think of the bhajan hall like this. I think I have a picture if you go a few slides late. This is our Ooty school. It's amidst the hills. It was a hill station, so it was really cold. So we go to the next one. See, he would sit here and we would be right there. And the bhajans would happen every day. So it was so that close. So, and after the bhajans are over, Swami would just sit and talk to us till for some time. So he would ask, where are you from? He'll make fun. Somebody says he's from Assam. They'll say, oh, Assam pakoda, because that child will be chubby. And then Swami will say, oh, does anyone want to sing? So you remember, these are children between 5 and 7.5 years old. So one boy put up his hand and he said, Swami, I'm going to sing. So this boy was in first grade and he was from North India. This is 1978. In 1977, there was a big movie hit song, okay? And this boy knew only that song. So he came up very confidently. And the song went, he put his hand up and started dancing to the song also. And the teachers were shell-shocked. Okay, the song goes like this. It is, Bombay se aaya mera dost, दोस्त को सलाम करो, रात को खाओ पियो, दिन में आराम करो. For those who don't know Hindi, if you knew a Taylor Swift song, right, and you would sing in front of Swami, something equivalent to that. But what the meaning of the song is that my friend has come from Bombay. Then रात को खाओ पियो, eat and drink at night, दिन में आराम करो, just rest through the day. So, and he was dancing away nicely, and all the teachers were shell-shocked because they didn't have time yet to teach us how to behave in front of Swami. You know how adults impose their thought of God into us. So they were shell-shocked. But Swami, if you've seen Swami's laugh, his stomach went up and down, his cheeks were red, he was laughing uncontrollably. So because he was laughing, everybody was calm. Everybody started calming down. And then Swami pinched his cheek and patted him, didn't stop him, he let him do his performance. And then Swami pinched his cheek and said, he says, khana, pina, sona, marna, which means you drink, you sleep, you eat, and you die. That's all organic. But in the process, Bhagwan ke liye bhajan karna. He said, do prayers, pray for God, right? So he taught the kid. But the kid was so happy because he did an excellent performance. Swami didn't stop him. He appreciated him. So he gave him the self-confidence that, nothing is a mistake in God's eyes, right? Everything is a progress towards God. So one such day, another day, Swami asked who wants to sing. I put up my hand, and then he said, "Oh, you sing." The thing I remember about Swami is we all came from different states of India. So in India, if you cross a border, you speak a different language. It's not like English all over like we have here. So he was very proud to show to everybody that we were from different states. So he asked me, he said, you want to sing? And he wanted us to sing in our language of the state. So I said, yes, Swami. Since I was from Bangalore, it's Karnataka. Kannada is the language. So I said, okay, let me start singing. So I started singing, Krishna Nine Begabaro Yana Manato Lihatoro Huttittu Madurayani Peladittu Gopula. I stopped because I didn't remember beyond this. Then I looked at Swami just like this and I said, Swami, he said, sing. Then again I started. I got stuck at the same point. Then I looked sheepishly at Swami. Then Swami said, oh, mat hoita. He said, did you forget? And then Swami said, it's okay, go now, learn properly and sing it next time. There are two things. One thing is Swami never chastised us for anything we did. He always gave us a solution to go forward and look forward and change ourselves for the better. Second thing is, he spoke in Kannada to me. He would speak to people from Kashmir in Kashmir, like a normal person. I look at you, I wouldn't know what language you speak, right? So that from a young age we realize he knows everything. Because he would speak, and like each one had different languages, but yeah. So the greatness of Ooty school, at least my batch, was that Swami talks of unity in all religions. In my class, right, we had Rukhsana Bashiruddin. Some of you may know, Bashiruddin was one of Swami's first Muslim devotees. His daughter was my classmate, and Diana Baskin's daughter, Christina Rajgopal, was my classmate. Christina's father is the Rainbow Man you have read about in Kasturi's book, about how Swami used to call him Rainbow Man whenever he would come. Okay, I'm digressing here, but so there was Rukhsana of Muslim faith, there was Christina thing. We had Sikhs in my class, and then I was Hindu. So Swami would make each child sing in their language. And I saw when Swami said all religions have one, I saw it in play. We were colorblind, we were religion blind. We grew up under one nest of Swami's umbrella. So that was one thing was very important about my life there. The importance of Namasmarana was imparted in our lives very young. So I told you every day we had bhajans, we had prayers. Swami had picked the whole agenda. He had put all the prayers for us, everything. At night, so sometimes when the powers, in India you have power outages quite frequently. So when the power goes out, imagine you have 100 small children. How much fear is in the children because when the light goes out, right? Our teachers had taught us that as soon as the light goes out, one of them would start Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Rama, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, and the whole lot of us would say together. This taught us that whenever we are going through a dark stage in our life, anything that is fearful, take the name of Swami, because his name is so potent, and Dr. Hari alluded to it in his thing. The Sai Ram is so potent. There was an interview of a devotee that I recently heard, one of my friend's mom, and she had an interview. Her mom was telling Swami, I chant, this shloka 100 times, I chant this shloka 3 times, I chant this shloka. Swami told her, stop counting. Because with God there is no count. Anything you do, just do it for His love. Don't do it saying, oh Swami, I did this. The count is in our heads. God doesn't care. Okay, so plays and presentations, we used to have a lot. Like Swami used to come very often. And when he comes, he would bring all these big people around him and he would show off. He'll say, see, this child is from here. See, this child, he would keep saying. And to add to it, the Prime Minister of Italy, Craxi, Alessandro Craxi, I think it was, his 3 nieces were also part of the school. And when they first came to our school, they had no inclination of English. No, they didn't know even a word of it. The only thing when they wanted water, we kind of knew because they would say aqua. So we used to go and get them water. But that is the breadth of Swami's love. Okay, plays and presentations. Whenever Swami would come, we would do so many different presentations in front of him. There was a drama called Daspik, again, unity of religions. So we would have one child each represent a religion and they would speak like 3 sentences or 4 sentences. And then we'd have Vivekananda, we would have Zarathustra, we would have a Muslim saint, and like so. And then they would finish their sentences and then a child will be dressed in Swami's robe, right, as Swami, and come and tie back all these religions. And there's this girl called Anamika. I don't know if there is a picture. You can go. Okay, you can see that girl there. She was Swami, right, in between the 2 boys. She used to come and she would use her hand like this, like Swami. Swami used to be so proud. Look how nicely she's acting like me. And he used to love that. And he watched all our plays with so much attention, even though he would have watched it. He would still have the same reaction every single time. There was one, I know SSC teachers are all here. Some of you have already gone through SSC as well. All your SSC plays are very moral play based and but in our times we didn't have such things. We did silly things for Swami. So there was one play that we did, and it was called the stomachache play. So in that, the first thing, what happens is there's a doctor, there's a nurse, and there's a table, operating table, and this patient comes in and he says, I have a stomachache. So the director gets very mad and he says, cut, you should show some emotion, you're in pain, you should cry. So he comes in, and then the nurse and the doctor ask him, what is happening? Why are you in pain? So he says, I am in pain. So he cries, and the director gets very mad and he says, this is overacting. Cut. You should show some happiness. And so the second time the person will come in and say, I have a stomachache. And then the doctor will laugh. So it was as silly as that. But Swami used to love this play. He made us do this in the Purnachandra Auditorium for his 55th birthday, I think. He made us do that. So I'm just saying that he loved it. Then at night sometimes Swami would just pop into our dormitories like I told you, and he would come and say good night to us. It was really nice. And our teachers had told us that sometimes Swami would come and walk around us when we had fast asleep and tuck us in too. So that was the love that we got from him. So in 1978 to 80, you can imagine the television spectrum in India. It wasn't much. We had only one channel. It was called Doordarshan. Okay, and it's hard for the youngsters to kind of relate to it. There was only one channel, and that channel, if somebody in the state died, there would be 3 days of mourning. Okay, they'd just be playing mourning music. In spite of that, Swami used to tell us, don't watch television. Okay, there's nothing much to watch, but she used to tell us. She said, when you go to your holidays, don't watch television. It's television which is poison. So we would go back home. And then we'd come back. It was very funny because I used to take Swami so literally. I had an aunt who had television in house, and we had gone for a snack or something in the evening. She had the TV on. She refused to turn it off. So I had to close my eyes because I was so scared that I'm answerable to Swami. Because when we come back, Swami will ask, who has watched television? And if you do not put up your hand on it, Swami will say, you watched. So I knew. So I would close my eyes, and they all thought I was crazy. That was the sad part of growing up there. Okay. Many a time Swami would come and ask which state we are from, right? I told you he wanted to show. So my state's name was Karnataka. And Swami would always come and say, what state you're from? I say, Karnataka. Swami will say, Karnataka. And he will make that like a dancing thing, which means do drama actually, okay? So I thought, I used to write plays later on, so I thought maybe Swami's hinting that I was going to write plays, so do drama. But years later, I heard this discourse on Radio Sai. There was a talk actually from Professor Bhatia, and he was talking about how when he was growing up, his grandfather would not let him watch dramas and said natak means, he split it and say na and atak. Na means don't, and atak means don't get stuck. So then it hit me. Swami is telling me do. Kar means do your action, but do not get stuck. Don't get stuck to the fruit of the results. So every word of Swami is so potent. You will realize it as you evolve. Then in 1981, Swami moved us to Puttaparthi because he only had third, fourth. So when I went to 4th grade, he opened 4th grade. When I went to 5th grade, he opened 5th grade. And after 5th grade, he stopped Ooty. So we didn't know what was going to happen. But he told the parents, don't worry, I'll open a school in Puttaparthi. You can move there. So for 6th grade, he moved us to Puttaparthi. But in Puttaparthi, he had space only for 1st through 5 grades in our hostel. There was a special wing was not open. So we used to walk to Ishwarama High School. Ishwarama High School was a Telugu medium school. So none of us knew Telugu. But Swami opened the English medium for 2 years there. And then for English and Sanskrit, we used to come to the boys' school. Okay, which was it's not allowed in Swami's history ever, but this was the only time. Anyway, what I was trying to say, I've been lucky that our batch got to attend all the schools of Swami, all the primary schools of Swami. Okay, so in 1984, Swami gave us 30 days of Bhagavad Gita discourses. It's very famous, and we were allowed to sit in Swami's presence and listen to it. How much I have heard, I don't know, because I kind of have zoned out a lot, but I'm trying to listen now and learn something. So in Ooty was our best times, but in Puttaparthi, Swami still came, but it wasn't as close and intimate. He would come very often because again it was a new school, so he would come and make sure everything was good. And he made us recite that, "Oh Lord, take my love, let it flow." He gave us the prayer structure and everything. So all that was said. But he would come, and in Parthi he used to be busy, but he used to come anytime after darshan. He'll just drive and he will just pop into the hostel. So we never knew, we never got enough notice that he was coming. So, but one thing about Puttaparthi was anything new, Swami would inaugurate. So there was, we used to have cold water bath. I was just telling yesterday about it. But Swami wanted us to be a little luxurious. So he decided he will install the solar hot water panels. So when the solar hot water panels were all done, Swami came to inaugurate it. So it was very simple inauguration. So we had a pipe connected to the solar panel. It was outside, and Swami had to just open the tap. The water will flow. We had a ribbon around it just to say that Swami is inaugurating, and the water would flow. That's our inauguration. So Swami came over there and he opened the tap. The water didn't flow. For some reason, there was vacuum in the pipe. And after some time, with the vacuum, how it holds up and suddenly lets out. So it came out with a burst and it was scalding hot water, and Swami's got all drenched. Everybody was like not sure how to respond or react because, it's Swami. Then Swami quickly smiled and said, "Not only did I inaugurate, I also took the first bath in here," he said. So, he would always make it so simple, nothing complicated. It was really good. So, like I was telling you, Swami would just pop into our hostel whenever. He'll just, after darshan, between interview and darshan, after darshan, between bhajan and darshan, he would just drive the car along that road and come. So one day he came in, and I told you all our teachers had to be on their toes because Swami, you have to be ready to answer him any minute. So he came in, our prayers were just going on in the foyer for the assembly. And Swami came in and asked, called the kitchen auntie. We used to call her kitchen auntie. She was actually, her name is Indu auntie, but she became kitchen auntie because she was in charge of the kitchen. So she used to set our menu based on each day. So that day Swami came in. And Swami asked her, "What did you make for breakfast? What did you give my kids for breakfast?" So she went in and she got some idlis, and she got these mung beans, the mung beans which are sprouted, the green ones, the whole mung. So she brought that in and gave it to Swami. Swami looked at the idli and everything. He didn't touch it. He took a spoon of the mung beans and he put it in his mouth, made a face. We were so happy because we didn't like it. We thought, okay, we don't like it. Swami also doesn't like it. It's going to go off the menu. But then he asked kitchen auntie. He said, "How much do you give?" So she said, "Swami, 2 teaspoons." Swami said, "Give 4 teaspoons starting tomorrow." We were so disappointed. But in the long run, we realized that anything that's unpalatable is always good for us. We have to learn it's all for our spiritual growth. Now we all like it, but it took us a long time. So anything that is bad or unpalatable, we have to learn to take it in our stride because ultimately it's how we grow spiritually towards Swami. So our class, I wanted to give a few examples of his omniscience. Even though we were omnipresence and omniscience, because I know now his physical form is not there. Does it mean he doesn't know you? Does it mean he is not around you? Not at all. Even when we were there, everything worked with a prayer from our heart. It did not work that I can just walk across to Swami and talk to him, right? It was always a prayer from the heart that pulled him to us. So there was this there was this girl, actually we had something called as National Talent Search Examinations, okay? So every year, it's like a SAT exam, but not. It's not mandatory to take that. But if you take that, you can get in the best schools, or you get some kind of scholarship and all that stuff. So we had to go for that. We couldn't have the exam in the school. We had to go outside the school. So for everything we need Swami's Padnamaskar, we need Swami's blessings. So we went for darshan that day, and we were sitting. And it's so in those days, I think darshan used to be around 7 o'clock in the morning, and then 11 or so the bhajan. So it's a long time for us to sit in the hot sun. So Swami didn't come, and we were so, it was a hot day. So one of my friends, she was reading a book. And in that book, we could take books. So she had taken a story book, and in there it says, do you not have eyes that you cannot see? Do you not have ears that you cannot hear? Do you not have a heart that you cannot feel? And this was related to the story, but she hinted it against Swami because she was sitting in this hot sun. 5 minutes later, the door opens. We used to sit by Swami's kitchen. There's a Krishna statue. We used to sit there. Swami came out immediately, and he came, and bhajans were going on. He was swaying in front of us. And suddenly he came close to us. He said, I have eyes, I can see. I have ears, I can hear. I have a heart and I can feel, he said. Imagine, and sometimes even today when I get mad at Swami sometimes, and I say, Swami, has your hair grown so much that you cover your ears and your eyes, you're not seeing this? So, and then this flashes across my mind, this incident that, he said. The other, there was one incident where a girl, we have, in the morning we have Suprabhatam and everything, and then we have a few minutes of play outside, then we go shower, and then we have our breakfast. So one day, one of the girls, she was really hungry after having a bath, and she came running to the dining room. She wanted to be the first one to eat. She was standing in the row, and they were serving food, and she found that they were serving noodles, and that was one thing she detested. So she was so mad at Swami, and she said, Swami, this is the one thing I don't like, and today I'm hungry. What kind of a mother are you? And she went away upstairs. So we used to hide on things that we didn't like. We would go and stay in the bathroom so nobody notices that we didn't come down for breakfast. So within 5 minutes, there was a flurry of activity, and Swami's car came in. Again, what is the breakfast? Swami said. So kitchen auntie comes with noodles. Swami takes a spoon and he looks at it and he says, Ayyo, purugula, he said. Which means, is it worms? He said, because it was noodles, right? No, so this girl also made a challenge to Swami. She said, I will eat only if you eat. If you come and eat, I will eat it. She was so hungry. So Swami came, this is worms, he said. And he took a spoon, he ate. He looked at that girl and he said, go, all of you eat now. So what I'm saying is, for one girl, the Lord of the universe came down to make her eat breakfast. Is that girl special? No, it's the love that you have for him. He will come for each one of you, even today, if you call out with the same anxiety, the same. Make him your friend. Just talk to him. Just make sure that he will come to you when you need him. And if you need him and he doesn't come, it's not that he doesn't care. He's making us prepared for our next level, right? He's giving us more strength. It's like with strength training. The more pain you get, I know the young adults will attest to it. The more pain, the more gain. So, yeah. So, coming to our hostel, Swami had appointed a lot of speakers that would come and speak to us, the likes of Kasturi, Professor Kasturi, Al Drucker. I think Hislop came also a couple of times. So these people would come and talk to us about Swami's stories, and it used to be really nice. Professor Kasturi was the funniest. He used to tell stories with such animation, and his sense of humor was really good. I remember an incident in Vrindavan. He was sitting in the bhajan hall in the old mandir. It was not the Trai, and it's pretty dark. And Professor Kasturi had this habit of putting the Parthi, like he used to put vibhuti as big stripes across his forehead. So one day he was sitting in the dark and Swami came. It was kind of half dark. So Swami came and said, "What is this Kasturi? You're sitting in the dark. It looks like you have bandage on your forehead." So Professor Kasturi was so good at giving back to Swami. He said, "Swami, this is the bandage that would relieve me of bondage," he said. So, and Swami would laugh. There was another time that Professor Kasturi was used to travel with Swami in the car, and he was much older than Swami, I think, decades older than Swami. So he's getting off the car, and Swami was very quick. If you've seen him in his 50s, he would be like a 15, 16-year-old, very quick walking and everything. So he quickly alighted from the car and he went into the interview room. As he's going into the interview room, he let 3 people come in. One was Sathya Murthy, one was Krishna Murthy, one was Narsim Murthy. All 3 were Murthis, right? So they went in and Swami stood at the door and did not allow Kasturi to come in. He said, "No, only Murthis are allowed." Okay? So then Swami said, "These are 3 Murthis. I am also Murthy because I'm God," he said. So then Kasturi said, "Swami, please let me come in. If I come in, it will become Purti. Purti means it will become full." And everybody laughed. We used to sit in the veranda so we could hear these kind of conversations. He was so good, and Swami used to love and he used to laugh also. So, coming to Professor Kasturi, his life was filled. We came to know this a little later, but his life was filled with misery. He came to Swami when he lost his first son. Okay, so imagine a parent losing a son. It's not an easy pain to swallow. But if you looked at him, you would never know because he'd always be laughing, making everybody laugh. And so Professor Kasturi lost his son. He came to Swami. After that, he and his other son he was a geologist, and even that son passed away during Kasturi's lifetime. And Kasturi had become such a mature devotee that when he passed away, he said, "His station has come. I don't know when mine will come," he says. So he was that evolved. And then his daughter was married by Swami to a Swami's devotee. But her life was miserable. Her married life was miserable. And she used to complain, but Kasturi would never take her pains to Swami ever. So one time she challenged Swami and she said, "Swami, you got me married. You picked the person. Why do I have so much pain in my life?" And Swami said, "Remember, you have picked your soulmate lifetimes ago. It's something you have decided. I'm just blessing I'm a witness. I just bless what you have picked. That's all." But Swami said, "See, you have pain, but I'm giving you the relief that you're close to me and you can get that pain forgotten. Like I'm giving you the balm." So these were devotees that we saw on a regular level. And in Vrindavan, there was a devotee called Brijesh Patel, not a devotee's father. Brijesh Patel was a big cricket player in those days. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but he was a big player in the Karnataka field. So his father was handicapped. Okay, and he was a big devotee of Swami. He used to come in a wheelchair. Swami gave him an interview one day, and Swami said, "I can take away I can give you back your legs. But your karma is so bad that you'll have to come and suffer again in your next birth." You know the greatness of these devotees. They said, "Swami, I have known you in this birth. I can take any pain in this birth. Let me just suffer while knowing you." So these are the kind of devotees we saw in and out. There's another really special devotee that I want to bring to light is Principal Narendra. I don't know how many of you have heard of him. He was the principal in the Bangalore Vrindavan campus for a long time. His father was also big in the organization circles and everything. He had a son who was 8 years old, and Swami used to love him a lot. Swami used to call him Vijay Sai. And this boy at 8 years old, he goes to school, and Principal Narendra and his wife both wear glasses. So this boy seemed to have some vision issues in school, and the teachers sent him back. So they thought, because both of them had glasses, maybe he has. But he slowly started to lose his vision. And he was very physically close to Swami. And Swami never once did he ask for anything. Swami said he's a great soul. He's come into your life. He's going to, so when noble souls have very little time left in their karma, they come into noble families as angelic parents that are noble. So he's such a soul. And Vijay Sai became blind ultimately. He was supposed to pass away in a couple of months, but he stayed on for 8 more years. But every time Swami used to be so kind, would come, and he would also light up as soon as you see Swami. He could sense, his hearing was good. Swami said one sense is enough to reach God. He has hearing, he can reach God. So I think we have to learn to use all our senses. And we have many, but at least one of our senses towards God. Right? So that was one thing. I'm going all over the place, but our class was preparing for the 10th standard examinations. And like I said, any time, 10th was like a board exam. It's like your SAT stuff. It's very important. It's like critical. 10th and 12th grade is very important in India. So we went to Swami for blessings. Again, Swami didn't come. This was not the I don't hear day. This was another day. So we were sitting and Swami didn't come. But then finally he came and he said, why do you need Pad Namaskar? Why do you need to touch my feet? My blessings are always with you. Go write your exam. So we were very sad that he didn't give us the opportunity. So we went back. And we were sulking, and that evening our teachers went for darshan, and Swami said, bring the girls, I want to give them blessings. So we came running like crazy people, and then we came and sat, and Swami gave us Pad Namaskar, and he gave us 2 pens. He said, I'm giving you 2 pens so that if one pen does not write, the other pen will write, or one pen, the ink finishes, then you have another pen. So why I bring this to picture is, if he had just given us blessings, I would have forgotten it. But the fact that he denied it the first time made it more special the second time. Sometimes his denials are not delays are not his denials. So and even if he denies, it's something that's good for us. We should always remember everything in our life is good for us, whether it's sweet, bad, anything. One more thing about Kasturi is he would always tell us, so there's last name in Indian circles, it's Chatterjee, and if there are any Bengalis, I'm sorry, but Chatterjee and Banerjee are 2 last names that are common in Bengalis in India. So always Kasturi would say, don't be Chatterjees. Chatterjee is like you keep on chatting. Be a Banerjee. Show the banner of Swami through your life. So he would, I mean, these are things that he told us when we were young, but it's stuck so deep that I can talk about it today. One more, so I was talking about Hislop. I've told this story many times, but Hislop told us a story about when he went to an interview once, and Swami asked devotee, what do you want? So he was from the Western world, and he said, Swami, I want a Mercedes. Okay, and everybody laughed. And Swami just smiled and let go. Years later, Hislop met that devotee in Parthi. So he asked him, did you get a Mercedes? And the guy laughed heartily and he said, yes, my wife's name is Mercedes. So what I want to say is, sometimes we ask Swami for something, he will give it to us on his own terms. Best not to ask, but it's okay if you want to ask only Swami. There's another story about a couple, this is a little more serious, but there's a couple that was serving in Swami's organization, very devoted, and they didn't have children for a long time, and so they were forced by everybody around them, and go ask Swami, you're so close, why can't you ask Swami? So the husband went and asked Swami, Swami, can I have a child? Swami said, no, it's not in your karma, leave it. But he, how, then they kept quiet. Again, they went and asked. They said, go, God can't do anything, just go ask. So Swami gave them both a mango and said, eat it and you'll have a baby soon. So finally they had a baby, like Swami had said, but it was a lump of flesh, like they didn't have parts or anything. And that child only lived for a year and passed away. Again, Swami said he was a great rishi. They were not meant to have children, but Swami gave that rishis 6 or 7 months that he had to pass through his karma to them, so that they also get the blessings and move on. In a lot of speeches, Swami used to say, you come to me and you say, Swami, I want to get good academics, so I give you good academics. Then you say, Swami, I want a job. Swami says, I give you a job. Then you say, Swami, I want to get married. Swami gives you a spouse. Then, Swami, I want a kid. Swami gives you a kid. After all this, you'll come back to me and say, Swami, I want peace. So Swami says, why don't you come to me and ask for peace first? Because peace ensures that you get everything in life, right? So that was the thing. And there was another devotee that Swami had told that there are 2 things you should ask God. You should ask for a very pain-free death. And another thing you need to ask is never to show your hand in front of anybody for anything. So those 2 things you ask, and you ask for peace, you get everything. But we, go around everywhere. Swami used to make us laugh a lot. Even though we studied in his school, it was more about idlis and chutney and vadas and some, he used to crack jokes all the time. So one time he came and he said, oh, did you do Suprabhatam today? So we all said, yes, Swami. He came to the school and he said, did you do all Suprabhatam? Then he looked at some of the Western children and he said, do you know how Western devotees pronounce Suprabhatam? He said. So we all just kept quiet. He said, super bottom. He said, everybody started to laugh. Yeah. So also sometimes we think spirituality is being very straight-faced and being sorrowful and all that. Swami was always making us laugh, because the more spiritual you are, the more laughter you have in your life, the more joy you have. You should always be happy and spread that happiness to everybody. I gave you some examples of devotees going through so much pain, but you would never know it, right? So we should be like that going forward. Some more examples of omnipresence. There was give me 1 second. There were 2 boys. We are sitting in darshan. So they were discussing. So one boy was going to write a note. Sometimes Swami would not talk, so you just hold up a paper. So this boy wrote, Swami, please come to the hostel. I think to the school or to the hostel. So the boy next to him said, hey, Swami was 8th grade fail. Do you think 8th grade dropout, right? So does he know English? So these are small children. So this other boy is like, don't talk like that. Swami is God, because we're taught in school. Swami is God. He knows everything. So this boy is like hushing him. He's scared to say something like that. And then Swami suddenly walks up and he sees that note that boy gave, and he takes it and he says, Swami, he enunciates everybody. He says, Swami, please come to school. And he looks at this boy and he says, 8th class mein school chhod diya na. He said, in 8th grade I left the school. So he knew every conversation that happened. He knows every conversation we have, but these are physical examples of how he showed it. There's another story about a boy. Boys are really, really naughty. It's easy to control, sorry, not to be a sexist, but to control children between 1st and 3rd grade is not that easy. Okay, boys especially. So in Ooty, this is from Ooty though, whenever Swami would come, he would bring us a lot of goodies. We used to love Swami as our Santa Claus, bringing us all the gifts and everything. And in those days, even Tetra Pak, the ones that you get like moths, those were very rare and we hardly got. So when Swami would come, he would bring us that. So we had these naughty children there, and our headmistress, our principal had told the children, she said, you have to be well behaved. All our teachers had groomed us. Nobody is going to. So what these boys had great fun. They finished the juice quickly, put the Tetra Pak box under their foot and pop it. So So that's their fun. And, I mean, we were very, even our naughtiness was very sad those days, but that was our thing. But anyway, so they were all prepared when Swami had to come, that nobody does this. Okay. So Swami they had done it a couple of times before, so this was the thing. So all the teachers are keenly watching. Swami has given us Tetra Paks. And then we are drinking and everything. Suddenly we hear a loud pop. And everybody's trying to find out who did this. And all the boys are straight-faced, so you don't know who it is. Then Swami looked sheepishly. He has done it. So he was one of us, always. He would make sure that, he was in. And at a point, we are like, what do these teachers know? Swami's on our side, right? So... yeah. So the socks story, I wanted to tell you. This is so one day what happened was we go with very limited clothes, limited everything in Parthi. So socks are like, you have to be very careful. You have 2 pairs of socks. So one of the boys, he lost one part of his sock, like one of his socks. And so the teacher gave him punishment that day. She said, you're not going to play because you lost it. You have to sit on the steps of the school. So this boy was sitting very sad and he didn't know what to do. She said, until you find the socks, you're not going to play. So the next Sunday we went for darshan. Swami came up. And after he talked to all of us and everything, he used to give us mangoes and everything. So he brought a basket out, and that was normal. He gave us ice cream, mangoes. So then that day he distributed socks. Okay, so he gave socks to everybody, and he threw an extra pair to this boy and looked at him. That was enough for him to continue with that one knowledge through his life that Swami is taking care of him. These are small. See, Swami didn't do great and grand. He was a God of small things. He touched your heart with love. That's why I say love, laughter, and that should lead us to liberation. That was why I picked the topic. Okay, so. Then he had lots of fun. There would be boys. There was one boy who was really good. As your teeth start to fall out, it starts to wiggle, right? And it's very annoying. So this boy was very good. He was an expert. He would take a thread, yank out that wiggly tooth. He was an expert. So anybody who had their teeth that was shaking, he was the doctor on the team. So so he used to do this for all the boys. So one day Swami noticed that one of the boys had some teeth missing in the front. Swami said, what happened to your teeth? Swami, they fell off. They fell off? Yes, Swami, this boy does a good job. So he's explaining to Swami. Swami was so happy. He patted that boy. Really good boy, good. Yeah. So, so coming to one of my sisters in Anantapur, she had asked Swami. Swami asked her, what do you want? And she said, Swami, I want devotion. Swami said, I've given you devotion already, because we are all here for a reason. We love God, right? Hopefully we all love God. So we are here. So Swami said, I've already given you devotion. Ask for obedience. Because obedience is not a choice you make on one day. You have to make it every minute of your life. So devotion also means a lot of obedience. I just want to tell you, I do a lot of stories, sorry, but there was a devotee, Kutumba Rao, and he used to take care of Swami's ashram in Puttaparthi. So they would have Narayan Seva in the grounds just beside our hostel. That time it was not the Hillview Stadium. So they would make men sit on one side, women sit on one side, and on the other side, and they'd have handicapped people very close to the exit, right? So that they can come in and out quickly. One day Swami came and Swami said, make the handicapped people sit between men and women, to put him around in front of everybody. He said, make them sit in between the men and women. And there was another devotee next to, after Swami went away, the other devotee quipped to Kutumbarao and said, doesn't it make sense that we should put them close to the exit entrance? So Kutumbarao said, yes, it makes sense. And that much intelligence I have. But when Swami says something, you need to follow. If I go back to Swami and I say, Swami, can I put them close to the entrance? He'll say, yeah, do that. Great idea, he'll say. but have you obeyed him? So he did it, even if there was no logic, he would do things like this. There was another time, there was a boy, I believe this I've heard from the brothers. In an interview, there was the Prime Minister of India who had come to Swami, and in the interview, he was asking Swami, what is obedience? And Swami just kept quiet. Again, he said, Swami, what is obedience? Then the conversation continued, and there was a boy who went to get water for the Prime Minister. In a glass, right? And he went to give it. Swami said, drop it. And that boy dropped it. And the water fell everywhere. And Swami said, that is obedience. Because you don't have any logic in your brain. When God says something, you just do it. But does it mean that I do it without knowing? No, Swami says, test me. But you can't keep on testing him, right? Once you've tested and you've picked him as your God, as your Guru, then there should be implicit faith. There was another devotee also based on obedience. I was saying, Swami had shifted to the Purnachandra auditorium. There was a flight of stairs. There were like some cartons that were piled up. There was a 70-year-old devotee of Swami. Swami said, move the cartons from the top to the bottom. It's on the right, move it to the left on the bottom. So he moved the 70-year-old. And in these cases, they will not delegate it to anyone. If Swami said it, they'll do it. So he moved everything. Then the next day Swami came, Swami said, why is it here? Put it back in the same place. So he did it. 3-4 days he did the same thing. And then Swami said, see, that is why he's my devotee, because he doesn't question. So these are examples we need to take. 5 minutes. Okay. So I was thinking. Yeah. So nothing is illogical. We just have to have faith in Swami. And every time we have anything bad happen to us, remember that we might have done something in our previous births that bring it back to us. And even with Swami, you will see some people who are not at all good, but they'll be the closest to Swami. We don't know the reason, and we think, why Swami are you doing this? I'm so much better. We have this ego. I'm so much better, you don't talk to me. So there's this one quick example, and I'll end with this. There was a boy who Swami kept very close to him for 3 years. Every single day, Swami would give him everything, give him the best. But he used to smoke, he used to drink. I mean, we think it's backward. Yeah, he used to smoke, he used to drink. He had all kinds of bad habits, right? And people would tell Swami, Swami, he's doing this, Swami, he's doing that. Swami would say, let it be, let it be, let it be. 3 years later, Swami threw him out. So nobody understood what was the purpose. Then when they went back to Swami, Swami said, this boy in my previous avatar, when everybody threw stones at me, gave me a roof for 3 days. I'm paying it back for 3 years of what he did for me as that devotee who gave me the thing. So we don't know what we have done, but we are all very blessed because we are here today listening to Swami's glory and story. So with that, I just want to quickly end. Swami Vivekananda, one of the foremost pupils of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, had once said that if I can show the world one glimpse of my master through my life, I shall have not lived in vain. This is something for me each day as I think, like Swami, do I show anything in me that reflects your presence in my life? Also, I pray to Swami to shower love and blessings on everybody, and I ask Swami so that I can love everybody more each and every day and be his presence of love in everybody's lives and my life. So, Sai Ram and I just wanted to show quickly the slides because I didn't make it like a talk, so I'll just show you some pictures that see how Swami loves the girl who acted like Swami. So this was the Gopika dance that we did many times in front of Swami. He made us do it in Purnachandra auditorium as well. This is the doctor story. See, stomachache drama, there was that crying going on. And then laughing going on. So that, if you go back one, that's Ravi Kumar. He was my classmate, the singer Ravi Kumar. So then Swami inaugurated the new building in our hostel in Ooty, and this is in Ooty, and then we are doing laziums in front of Swami. And this is Professor Kasturi. He used to come a lot for in Ooty, tell us stories as well. And that's Nanjan uncle. He's the driver, Radha Krishna, if you remember Swami's driver. His father, they ran the school in Ooty. Their family, his daughters were my teachers. They were the first group of Anandpur students. See, that's Professor Kasturi. It was a very cold place, so we used to wear these monkey caps and everything. And Swami used to eat right next to our dining hall, and sometimes with us as well. So this is, see, he would walk, and this is that Prime Minister's niece, I told you, the Italian Prime Minister, her name is Sandra. So he used to just walk around when we were eating. This is all Ooty. You know this famous picture. And that was Swami giving us individual pictures with each one of us. And this was in Punnachandra where we did the drama. And this is in Puttaparthi again during Balavikas rally in 1983. We did the laziums in front of Swami. And I told you he inaugurated every single thing. The slide Swami inaugurated. This was the inauguration of the slide. And he went through the stomach of the elephant, stood there and took a picture with us. That's it. Sayonara.